You talk about the sweet spot, so that's also the I.
Don't need to do anything.
Okay.
Yes. Infinity doesn't speak like that, actually. It doesn't think in that terms. That's a habit. But like any habit, once we see it, I actually saw it in the form of a great spiral, and the spiral actually stopped, and then everything went loose. That's one part of it. And so now whenever the mind spirals into a habit again, something magnetizes. Something begins to gravitate. I recognize
you were saying this when you went through your emergence, your awakening, that there was a period of time, you have to remind me the length of it, 9 months or
7 months.
7 months, where you were just in a constant state of bliss and everything was just like perfect and beautiful, and then you watched the magnetism of meaning and the ego start to fire up again, almost like a machine. I think you described it. And that's the
and this is the integration process. This is the path of allowing, and that grows the discernment. This is what in Dzogchen they call the process of abiding. When we become mature in our abiding, it just is. And in present time, everything is seen as it is. And many, many, many great benefits come from that. There's great value in that. But until then, there's a learning curve going on. And this is the integration. And people have typically, I've done some research on it. I don't know the full truth. It can take thousands of years, it can take moments, but my teachers had taught me that maximum 12 years is a good time frame for it to happen. As little as 2 years. Everyone's different. Some people, you have to, there is some guidance that can come so that you don't grasp it, because that's the first thing that will push it away. And you don't just let it go completely. I mean, there is a letting go that happens, but you don't abandon that which is.
And the way at least in the way I understand this for myself, is that the awareness or the emergence or the awakening of the knowledge of what I am beyond ID and ego and self is now, I'm now here and I'm living within this world and I'm doing all these things. I'm running a business and I'm going here and there. I've got these visions and things I want to create. And all the while I'm observing myself as I run through those processes. And then oftentimes I see myself as being not perfect here, or being too pushy here, or being too much like this or like that there. But the comfort I have, or the complete and total trust I have, is that who I am is beyond all that. And it's getting stronger every passing week. And that's what you call the abiding, or the resting in the knowledge of that.
And this builds compassion. As long as you have a strong enough connection to witness.
Totally.
And some practices focused, like most of the work of Osho was focused entirely on the witness itself, which is great.
Mindfulness. So it's almost like it's presupposing that we are that beyond that what we're observing.
Yes.
Which is the
we're witnessing. It's the witness of the witness, or what they call about turning the witness on itself and observing. And many amazing things happen in this process. And this is how you become. In Dzogchen they would say, this is how, there's different kinds of bodhisattvas. There are awakened beings or bodhisattvic beings who wake up purely for the sake of awakening. With there's divine will does not move through them in a way that they just garden, and they kind of putter around. And then they, burst into light one day, and then that's it,
Yeah.
But it still affects the field,
Mm-hmm.
and they know that. And then there are those that are, divinity, as I call it, or we could call it oneness or unity, or the higher self of what do they call it? The conscious collective, kind of comes rushing through you, and it brings forth action. The doing of non-doing begins to occur.
Love it.
Yeah. And you can't stop it, But typically, if we don't have that integration period, or if we haven't had it at some point, those who wake up all of a sudden, they already did that, They're doing their thing in their way, But there seems to be this need to understand itself for the sake of others. And then what you'll find is that people will come to you and they'll have that exact problem or experience or something, and then you can help them, not as Pisces, not solve their problem, but dissolve their problem by showing them that it never actually existed in the first place.
Beautiful, and that's exactly what they talk about in NLP. People come with a phobia, a block, a problem, and the whole purpose of NLP is to get them to focus their consciousness, their attention on everything but the problem, which then somehow dissolves the problem.
Yeah, it shifts the perspective, I would imagine.
Exactly. Just hearing it from another language, another discipline, saying the same thing.
Beautiful.
Cool.
What other questions do you have for me? Or not?
Or not. I was going to ask, where is it all going? But you said we can't talk about that. It's that place we can't, the tent falling down.
Yes.
Maybe in your life, like where are you at?
Sure.
Where is this? How does this look in a practical?
Yeah, the relative and the divine. Where is it all going? Not the ultimate. Where is it all going? Because it's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Never was.
Sorry, never was. So where is it all going? I don't know.
Cool.
I don't have any concept yet. There is an obvious movement that is wishing to flow. And I don't indulge it, and I don't stop it.
So this obvious movement that is intending to flow, to me, suggests it would have a consciousness.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perhaps, I don't know if Pi refers to the movie Interstellar, where it suggests of a higher self, that.
Yes.
So it's almost like, I know this, at least how I understand it for myself, is that there is something emerging from me that wants to move and flow and create the doing of non-doing, which has an intelligence that I'm catching up to understanding. Yet I can't hold on to it because it's so fluid and lucid.
Yes, and this is the art. This is the art of life, is really, knowing what becomes of yourself and how, what they call, there's actually no separation, but infinity through you. How does it want to be? And really honoring that. It will be different for every person. And
it's exciting.
Yeah, it's very exciting. For me, after what I called it, the tipping point, at the time I called it the tipping point, because it was like the glass of water tipped, and you cannot put that water back in. It's gone. It's coming out. There's a lot of almost tipping that went on for a very long time, but then there was it coming out, and I was in a workshop at the time when it happened, but my role in that workshop it sort of was kind of over, and this experience reached its tipping point, and 20 minutes after it happened, I was surrounded by the entire group, begging me to heal them, saying, "Can you please help me? Can you please help me?" They could smell it.
Right.
They were very ready beings, and And I remember having this observation of like, really? Like, that's all the time I get? Like, and now you're putting me to work?
Right, straight away.
Wow. Okay. And even my Satguru, Amachi, talks about it, you know, when she fell into, I don't know how she would describe it. I called it the unbearable bliss of being. She, you know, it was the infinite bliss that never left. Always is, and it's just a byproduct of what's emerging. And you know, a voice came to her. She said something like this, and said, you know, this is not for you. Get up and begin. Maybe it's like that for women. I don't know.
I want to explore this a little bit, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
I remember years ago, I was 23, and I was actually, funny as it may be, I was actually preaching to hundreds of people in South India, and in the Christian framework, we call it the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And it came and it fell and it moved through the space of these people, and as you just said, it's like they could sense there was something coming through me that was real, like tangible. And I remember there, clear as I'm there right now, looking at everyone going, they're hungry. They just want God, how I understood it just then. They just want God. I can't give them any bullcrap. I can't bring any personality. I have just got to deliver this Holy Spirit. And I remember this. And I remember when it happened, there was a tangible presence. And I remember a moment where I sung to a little child that was in trauma, and it went straight into a deep sleep. And part of me was going, oh my God, did that just happen? Another part of me is like being super cool about it.
Yeah.
I remember these people just wanting what I had. And I got back to my hotel room and I collapsed on the ground. And I said to myself, I don't know what I've done wrong. I don't know how to handle that. And I never spoke for at least 10 years.
About that.
I never spoke spiritual kind of in that capacity for at least a decade, because I just had a lot of learning to do about what just happened and how to protect myself. So I imagine so many people watching this, listening to this, would be kind of noticing that they have something emerging from them that the world around them kind of wants. You just mentioned you've experienced it. I've experienced it in a kind of extreme way when I was 23. Have had an ongoing relationship to understanding that along the way. Could you share any wisdom around that for us?
Yeah.
Is this a perception?
There's a willingness to allow it. This is a very tricky stage. And you know, my teacher called it, it's the path of allowing. And when the path of allowing is fully allowed, and all that means, then really there's no more question. You know, there's no more answers. There's no more question. There's just a beingness that is. So what to allow and what not to allow. You know, what to allow, because you know it's the saying of yes, but there are times when the saying of no is the yes.
Yes.
And this is really the art. So, you know, Adyashanti used to say, I like him because he was one of the people who I called him my Google guru, because I never met him, but he was at that time, and he was the only one I could find online who spoke the truth as I knew it, and in a way that I could understand it. There were others, but in a way that I kind of resonated.
Sure.
And he said when he began to teach out of his awakening, people would ask us, you know, wow, this is amazing, why are you teaching this? And he would say, I don't know. So there is a part of you, you know, you have to watch that part that says, I have something to give. I am a healer. I am a teacher.
Totally.
I am a guru. You know, oh, I've got it now. That's what I am. Oh, I knew it all along, you know. And then the egoic construct puffs up again, and this can be born into the spiritual ego, which they say is the last ego to go. My teacher in Dzogchen would say, be careful of the spiritual ego. And I remember, somebody coming to me, they had hurt themselves and they were asking me for healing, and I could see that in some ways it would benefit them, and in some ways it would strengthen their illusion. You know, because the fact that they're thinking I can heal them, you know, is a complete.
Presupposes it's not within them.
Yeah.
At some level.
And so I went to my teacher, and I really didn't want to engage me. I could see there was a temptation for me to go, okay, I will help them. And actually, the beautiful thing is once you do, and also you know, a bit of warning is that when you do decide this is it, and I am going to surrender my I, and I am going to give birth to not I, but I'm going to, you know, transcend into the witness, and then the witness is going to discover its infinity. You know, things happen after that that you can't really backtrack on. So, you know, get ready. And be warned that life will not be the same, you know, and the smallest little infraction on the inside, the smallest little bit of illusion will create a big response out there. And so I could feel, I had already seen this happen before, not to move towards becoming a savior or becoming a guru or thinking I could help them. At the same time, they're suffering. And you're all they got, you know.
Going through this.
And so we do not turn our backs on them. You know, and this is the discernment. How much, you know, doing of non-doing is going to come forth. And it will actually become quite, you know, it will become effortless, and it will become obvious as you learn. And as you learn what to allow.
It's a key topic, this. I know even Edgar Cayce, one of the most well-known psychics in history, you know, was told, you know, to only give so much per day. Yet he just couldn't help it, and he gave more, and he ended up burning out. Well, this is how the story goes. And you know, from that, I think there is also, as the ego is maturing, there's a practical knowledge of how much and how not. And I know, for example, there's the hugging saints. And she can just do it all day, and so some people can do that, and so we're all, you know, all of us, watching this, listening to this, it's different.
So you have to learn, this is really important, to learn your own system, to know how it works.
Beautiful.
You know, my system, that's the most important thing I can tell you, really. Next to, if you don't have awareness, take whatever awareness you have and cultivate it like a garden.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
And because awareness builds trust. Trust creates an opening. Opening allows us to surrender. And in that surrender, everything is revealed. In the unknown, ironically, everything is found. And then it continues around and around. So cultivate awareness until it just becomes what it is, and then allow it to be, and know your own system. How do you fool yourself? You know, what traps do you fall into? You know, where do you lie to yourself? And it just becomes more and more and more subtle. And what I love about what we could call seeking or spiritual, you know, the spiritual path, is that it's the same work, whether you just started out or you're, I don't know, some great, amazing being. It's the same work. It just becomes more and more and more and more subtle. And it becomes so refined, the sneakiness of the mind. And the art of allowing. And the art of maturing, and when we ignore it, it will become painfully obvious, so that we don't miss it. It's inevitable.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The good news is we can't not. We can't not get it.
It is inevitable.
It's inevitable.
You cannot stop
evolving, growing, learning, moving.
You can't stop the child from becoming a teenager, and a teenager from becoming an adult. Even if you kill it, it won't stop it.
It won't stop. That's the fun part. That's when I got that, my trust and my fun went up.
Yes.
I went, yoo-hoo.
Let your trust and fun go up.
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. That's been fun.
It was really fun.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.